Hey guys, here we go with this month's ReCast. I reached back a few seasons and got episode 67 from season 6, all about what not to do as an expat. Now, we originally started the series with merit badges, which you might remember, and that was really fun. So we turned to the dark side for this episode to explore how to get a demerit badge by being a dickhead farang. From elephant pants to yelling to mistakes with the bum gun, this is our discussion on how not to fit in to Thai culture. Enjoy. On this episode, we take the opposite position of our merit badge episode to go over some offenses that will get you a demerit.
So if you've ever seen a long timer doing something culturally foolish or ill-advised in Thailand, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 to learn Thai massage, but quickly found out that the only thing I like less than getting a massage is giving one.
Dude, that's not very romantic. You should learn how to give a massage.
No massages for you. I'm cutting you off.
And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 23 years ago. Fell in love with knowing that if I ever have to pay a bribe in Thailand, it will probably amount to less than $10. So I never left.
Probably. Except that one time it doesn't, and you're like, oh my God.
True that. But I always, just for the record, I've never paid a bribe in 23 years. But it is true that a lot of the people I know who've had to pay, bribes, almost in quotes, it'll be something like 200 baht to a police officer because of a traffic offense or something like that. So it's not right. It's not. I don't support it. It's not good, but at least you're not getting burned for like hundreds or thousands of dollars, like every little time.
Right. Yeah. It's if you wanted to bribe an RCMP officer in Canada, for instance, you'd have to come to the table with a lot more than a 20.
Exactly. All right. We want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get every episode a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted about another great ride to Golkrat and my plan to build a roller coaster there, a survey that showed that Loy Krathong might replace Valentine's Day in terms of how many people end up doing the nasty, and thoughts on the newly opened Pink Line and the difficulties in keeping transit maps current in a quickly changing city like Bangkok. To learn how to become a patron and get all this good stuff, plus full access to all of our bonus and regular back episodes, over 700 in total, click the support button at the top of our website.
That's a lot of episodes, man. What have we been doing?
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, before we get started, everyone, you may remember about a month ago, we asked our listeners to take a quick survey so we could find out more about them. And we got about 330 responses, which was pretty cool. And many thanks to everyone who took the time to fill out the questions. So just really quickly, I wanted to go through some of the questions before we start the show here. So Ed, the first question we asked was the average listener age, and 43, almost 44% of everyone who responded said they were over 50. So,
well, I think it makes sense. We have a lot of listeners who are retirees or long-term expats, so that's not too surprising.
Right.
Plus, a lot of tourists who are bringing families are also a little bit older.
Right. And 25% and 25% said they were between 30 and 39 and 40 to 49. And only just under 5% were young whippersnappers, 20 to 29.
We need more whippersnappers.
And unsurprisingly, I asked, what gender do you identify as? 87.4% were men, 12.3% were women, and 0.4% were other/none of yo business. So,
well, I'm not surprised. It's mostly dudes. That's a little bit higher. I might have guessed. So what was the percentage again?
87.4% were men.
Okay. I probably would have guessed 80-20. So that's a little bit high. So we need more babes.
We need more
chicky
women.
babes.
More women.
Am I allowed to say that? Can I say chicky babes?
We'll
Is that
find
okay?
out. We'll find out on social media
When I get
soon enough
arrested. When I get arrested tomorrow.
by the BC police. Now, we also asked, what nationality are you? And Ed, what do you think is the what do you think of the top 3 nationalities? I'll give you like a mini trivial tie.
The top 3. I feel like the U.S. has to be in there just because obviously the show's in English and the U.S. is such a big country and it's popular with, Thailand's popular with Americans. Interesting. I'm going to go U.S. I guess I'm going with the easy. U.S., U.K., Germany?
Pretty good guesses. U.S., 31.4%. United Kingdom, 13.5%. And Australia, 9.5%.
Oh, Australia. Yeah, I guess that would have been another gimme.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't meet that many Aussies here, but I know a couple. I'm friends with a few, and it's not close to Thailand. That's the deceptive thing. It's pretty far away, but they're far away from everything. So,
Right.
So if they want to come to Asia, or if they want to travel somewhere, it's like Asia's close, kind of their closest destination, even though it's still pretty far away.
That's right. And unsurprisingly, 67% of our listeners live in Bangkok.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And the last question I'll cover here is what I found most interesting. The question was, do you prefer chat shows or interview shows? And 49.7% said interview and 50.3% said chat. So almost right down the middle.
Oh, wow. I like that. That's actually heartening because I've talked to some listeners with strong opinions about this. And it's funny that maybe these are listeners who are just being polite, but I've had 2 or 3 listeners tell me that they really like the chat shows better than the interview shows.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that half the people said interview, that makes me feel better. Because you and I have talked about this many times, that the problem with interviews is that they're more narrow, and so there's a danger of just turning off listeners who just don't care about that topic.
Yeah. And I do that too when the podcast I listen to, like even if I love the podcast, if it's a guest I'm not interested in hearing about, I won't listen to it.
That's right. So actually that's quite heartening. I like that it's 50-50 because we try to divide the shows roughly 50-50 between them. So we're crushing it.
And there's a few more responses in there, but I'm going to put all of these little pie charts I made up on the website for this episode. So if you go to bangkokpodcast.com for this episode, you can see the full list of all the questions we asked there and the results that we got back from our listeners. Again, thanks to everyone who took a few minutes to fill that out. It was really interesting.
For sure.
Alrighty, on this episode, we thought it would be fun to do a bit of an anti-show, not a show about ants, but the opposite of a show that we've already done. Now, you may remember in Season 5, Episode 29 and 60, we did Part 1 and 2 of Expat Merit Badges. That is, special recognition for doing things that the average tourist or short-timer would probably never do. So this week, we thought it'd be fun to go over a few DEmerit Badges, things that, at least in our eyes, would get you a yellow card from the expat authorities, things that right away peg you as someone who doesn't know how to respect Thai culture, someone who is too foolish to care, or someone who just deserves a kick in the pants for their noob dumbassery. Now, none of these things should be taken to mean you're a lost cause. After all, we've done a few of them ourselves, as we'll see, but they should be seen as a learning moment, a faux pas that causes you to take a minute and reflect on what a dork you're being and try to improve. So, Ed, what are your thoughts on this process here?
I love this topic. I love the use of the term faux pas because, what is a faux pas? It kind of depends on what society you're in and who you are. What is a faux pas? What's a faux pas for a 50-year-old is not necessarily a faux pas for a 9-year-old. So I like the fact that as expats, long-term expats, we got standards. Like we got game. We got game. We got game. And so you can't be lame. You can't be here 6 years and be making newbie mistakes. So right. I like this. I'm a man of standards. Damn it, I've got standards. So I have no problem throwing shade on long-term people who make these types of mistakes. So actually, you and I just came up with 7 or so of these things, but I'm sure there's many more. So listeners, if you have any other ideas, we'd love to do a future show on this. But let's just give you what Greg and I came up with at first.
Yeah, and like on a little bit more of a serious note here, you and I have debated this before. I think as expats, any expat in any country, I think to a certain degree, we are all ambassadors for all expats. So it's on us to act appropriately and not make dumb mistakes, especially if they're culturally inappropriate mistakes. So I think if you keep doing these things, eventually you're going to start seeing your, your community respect being shaved down a little bit. So you got to take these seriously sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I represent other expats, but I get your point. I do feel embarrassed when I see expats doing stupid things.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, dude, you're making us look bad. So I understand your point.
Right.
You know, it's horrible. Like, this is completely random, but I just saw on the news, and it was some drunken white guy just walking around naked in Pattaya. You know, it's like 3 a.m. and he's just drunken guy stumbling down the street like blah, and it's like, you know what I mean? And it's just the perfect cliche. Just naked and drunk, 3 a.m. old white guy with a big belly.
Oh my God!
Like we don't need that. I don't think we need that, Craig. I don't want to see it.
I see that whenever I look in the mirror. I don't want to see it outside. So yeah, like you said, we got a couple of things on a list here. So we're just going to go back and forth. And why don't I take the first one here? The first one, of course, we have to go with the granddaddy of all ways we can identify a tourist from 100 yards: wearing elephant pants.
Yeah, I got to admit, I have worn them. Like in the first year that I was here, I sometimes wore elephant pants. I just thought they were comfortable. And I never looked at elephant pants and said, "Hey, this is cool." So I never made that. I never made that mistake. But I thought they were comfortable. And then, but over time, you kind of realize that it's such a cliched thing. It's such a stereotypical thing for tourists to wear, or at least short timers, that I just kind of put those away. I folded them up, put them in the drawer, never touched them again.
Right. I'd give you 6 months in country before you have to learn to stop doing this. But this takes a special spot now, because if you remember on a recent episode we covered a bit of news where it said that Thai people are actually grokking onto elephant pants as being cool, because there's been a couple of Thai influencers who have posted them, and so like young Thai people are like, "Hey, you guys, did you know that they're super cool and fun and comfortable to wear?"
Yeah, I can't believe it. I told you that I saw students at school wearing them, and then since then I was in the mall. Like I was in Central, and they had elephant pants on the rack, with other quote unquote normal clothes. Like, right. So I do think that they're enjoying I don't know if the right word is renaissance, but they're just enjoying some hip popularity now among Thai people. But I think we expats, we have to stick to our guns. Like, I don't think we need to go elephant pants. We're not doing that.
No, I agree. I think this is
standards.
I think this is our thing. This is our territory. This is the benchmark for how we tell if someone's a noob. It's like if a bunch of young Thais were like, "Hey, how about this new hairstyle where I shave the top of my head and I grow one side long and comb it over to the other side?" You're like, "No, you can't do that. That's the internationally recognized standard for a gross old man."
That's right. No, I agree. We're not giving in. I don't care how trendy elephant pant gets. No. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Can't do it. It's just
cannot do it.
All right, what do you got?
Well, this one is a little more serious, but I think this is a really good example of something that you have to learn in Thailand over time. Is that you have to learn how to control your temper, and even in very frustrating situations, like dealing with bureaucracy, like I've been dealing with the Thai government trying to get a driver's license, it really becomes a Zen-like practice where you just have to learn how to stay calm and always be reasonable and always be polite and nice, because that's the standard in Thailand. That's just the culture here. And you basically almost never get anything extra by getting angry. You might not get thrown out, but the bottom line is Thai people just tend to not respect people who lose their temper. It's almost like, according to Thai rules, once you get angry, you've lost.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of look down on you like like you're obviously a loser.
This guy doesn't understand how things work. He's a
Yeah,
fool.
or they just think like you lack self-control, which Thai people really believe in just keeping your cool. It's just what they value. So when you blow your lid, it doesn't get you anything, and it might hurt your cause. And I think of course that could happen in the States, but I think a lot of times, in the West, you can almost sometimes blow your lid strategically and get what you want because the person you're dealing with just doesn't want to deal with an angry customer, So
Right.
sometimes getting angry, it can work in the West because people are like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this guy. Like, all right, I'll just give you your money back, like, even though I'm not supposed to, I mean, my dad, like, I just remember my dad, like, if he felt like a store was treating him unfairly, he would just blow his lid.
Oh, really?
And a lot of, yeah, I'm not proud of it or whatever. It's just my dad. But I mean, he didn't do it randomly. But if he just felt like they were being jerks, then he would just yell. And and so a lot of times you just got people who are like, oh Jesus,
Get
Jesus,
this guy out of here.
Yeah, and so they just give you what you want. But it doesn't really work that way in Thailand. Like like anger and temper, it's not a good strategy. Like either whether it's natural or strategic. It's just not the way they interact here. I think in general, probably they're going to look down on you and be less likely to give you what you want.
Yeah, and I've been guilty of it many times. Where sometimes you get emotional. You're dealing with
You get
something important,
frustrated.
you get frustrated, and you have an outburst. And it's especially bad when it's at a place where you have to go back to, or they're going to get to know you, or they already do know you.
Correct.
Because almost every time it's happened to me, after I've cooled down a little bit, after 10 or 15 minutes, I feel like going back in and saying like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. That was really bad of me.
For sure.
Like, you want to apologize because you just
That's right.
understand that you've made such a stupid, dumb cultural mistake that you need to apologize.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you got?
Well, the next one is something that just popped into my head. And this is something that, I mean, it's something that I think that a lot of people do. But if it goes wrong, it can go real wrong. And people who are experienced with being an expat, this should not be a problem you have to deal with. And that's riding a motorbike without proper insurance.
Oh, correct. Obviously, we've done a show on it, but that is a bad mistake for a long-term expat. I mean, it's a mistake for tourists, but I do feel bad for tourists who either don't know how the laws work or they thought their travel insurance covered rental of a motorbike. There's a lot of people that get travel insurance and they think it covers things like renting a motorbike, and a lot of times it does not. So I feel bad for tourists, but once you've been here, again, 6 months to a year, you got to add that to your game. You have to know you got to take care of that. And there's different ways to take care of it. Whether, sometimes when you rent a motorbike, they give you an option to buy insurance. But then, of course, if you've been here long term, you want to make sure that your medical insurance or whatever your insurance covers for motorbike accidents.
Yeah. Like the bottom line is if you're driving a motorcycle and you're not properly insured, any accidents you get into, you're on your own. Insurance just won't cover you. It won't touch you.
That's right. And I learned this lesson from my first job in Thailand. I thought I had really good insurance, and I was in a minor motorbike accident. And I was just kind of, in this case, it wasn't a lot of money where I had to have the insurance pay. It was a few $1,000, but I was like, oh, I've got insurance. Mm-hmm. And then I found out that there was a disclaimer. Oh. Like I didn't know anything about it, but my insurance actually said specifically motorbike accidents are excluded, like all of them. Luckily in my case, I didn't need the insurance for that, but I learned a lesson about that. And I later talked to my company, and they talked to the insurance company, and you can pay extra for a rider. So if you want motorcycle coverage, you had to pay more money to get the motorbike coverage.
Yeah. So if I knew someone who'd been here for a few years and they're like, I was riding a motorcycle, I wasn't insured and I have to pay, I'd be like, well, that's on you, man. You gotta know that shit.
It's your own fault. It's unfortunate, but it is your fault.
Yeah. All right, what's next on the list?
Well, this one is pretty standard, but I have occasionally got burned by this. But again, it's my fault. And that is not having either your passport or a copy of your passport with you. So I think this is something even some tourists figure out, or I guess tourists are normally carrying their passport. But I feel like even after 3 months being here, it's just a thing in Thailand where everyone wants to see your passport.
Yeah.
You know, you practically go into a restaurant, order a meal. They're like, "Can I see your passport?" You know, it's just like everyone wants to see your passport, whether you're buying something, renting something, opening a bank account, you know, taking a boat or reserving a hotel room, like obviously in hotels.
Sure.
There's just a lot. If you're a foreigner here, there's a lot of people that want to see your passport, or even some bars who are being strict, or Thai bars. It's not common, but some Thai bars, you know, it has happened a couple times where they want to see your passport. And again, I think after a few months, everyone knows this. So most people don't carry their actual passport because you might lose it, but you should have a copy, either a physical copy on a piece of paper or at least a photo of your passport on your phone. Like that's the minimum.
Right. Now, I mean, I think if you have a Thai ID, like I have a driver's license, you could probably just use that instead. But I think most people, they're just trained to say, you have your, you know, like passport. That's right. That's the go-to document that they ask for
everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to buy chocolate chip cookies, they might ask for your passport.
Right. Because not everyone has a Thai driver's license or a pink card or a work permit or something like that. So passport is just,
that's right.
If you're a foreigner in Bangkok, you have a passport, and that's what they ask to see.
It's the go-to thing. It's the go-to thing. I actually bought cannabis legally at a dispensary last week, and now, I mean, actually the law has said this for a while, but most dispensaries don't do it. They're supposed to keep a record of every purchase, like who bought it. Oh. You know, this is government regulation, and now it's legal, and so I don't mind. But they actually asked to see my passport because the guy was filling it out. So I think I probably could have just given him my number, but he was filling out the information and asked. So just to buy weed, they asked for my passport.
Interesting. I'd be a little bit nervous about that, actually. Still, it was just my small town Canadian.
Well, yeah. Well, you and I spent our whole lives where weed was illegal. It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get your head around that it's legal.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good one. Always get a copy of your passport. I got a little one. It's like shrunk down. I miniaturized it. Like I reduced the size. Right. I printed it off and I laminated it. Keep it in my wallet. Forget about it.
Yep.
All right, next on the list, this is something I thought about from my early days in Thailand that I definitely did and I have never done since. But I think if you've been here any amount of time and this happens to you, then yeah, you get a demerit for this because it's such a stupid mistake. But getting a bad sunburn. And I'm not talking about like red arms or a pink face. I'm talking about like really painful, blistery sunburns.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be honest, even getting a mild sunburn, it is kind of your fault. Basically, it boils down to just forgetting sunscreen or forgetting a hat or forgetting sunglasses, whatever it is. And I do make this mistake sometimes, and it's just my own damn fault. Like sometimes you and I have gone on bike rides, and 5 minutes into the ride, I'm looking at my forearms like, oh shit,
oh no,
I forgot the damn sunscreen.
Yeah,
and so that is a newbie mistake, man. So you just got to remember. So if you're going to the beach, or last summer I went on a boat trip with some friends, and as we were just walking up to the boat, I remembered, oh God, I forgot the sunscreen. So I turned to my buddy. I'm like, dude, you got sunscreen? And he had it. But it's just whatever. We live in a tropical country, so you should know this, like to be prepared.
Yeah.
If you're outside, be prepared.
Yeah, I learned the hard way because, you get sunburn in Canada too, but that tropical sun, man, it'll mess you up if you're not ready for it real fast.
Oh, yeah.
I remember years ago, I was on an island and I went out and I had like my handkerchief on my head like I normally do when I'm on the beach. And I went out, I was like, I'll just be outside for a few minutes. And something happened and I was outside for half an hour. So I get back to the hotel room and I take off the handkerchief on my forehead and my face is red. And then my bald head above my forehead was like white.
Oh, it doesn't take long. Yeah,
no.
I mean it's 30 minutes is about it. I mean if you lay out in the bright sun without sunscreen, you'll get red in 30 to 45 minutes for sure.
Yeah,
you'll get burned. But yep, I agree. I like this one. Agreed.
Good one. Demerit for that. You get a red card for turning red.
That's right. Correct.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Well, this one I'm a big believer in. Again, I still make the mistake sometimes. But if you're a long-term expat, you should just not be using traffic as an excuse for being late. Now, occasionally, of course, traffic is just unpredictable. We all get it. But if you're the kind of person who's just kind of often saying, "Hey, sorry, like bad traffic," that's just lame. If you're a long time resident of Thailand, and I say this to my students, like obviously it applies to my students. Like I told my students, you cannot use traffic as an excuse for being late to class. That's just lame. If you're Thai, like this is Thailand. It's like traffic is not is just something you have to be prepared for. You can't use it as an excuse. And so, the longer you stay here, you have to accept this, that you can't use traffic as an excuse. You have to plan ahead, leave early, take the MRT, whatever it is. It's just lame to use traffic as an excuse.
I think there's a little bit of a caveat here. I think everyone should get like some get out of jail free cards for this. I don't know, like 2 a month or something like that. But
no, I agree. I mean, it can be frustratingly unpredictable. This is what I always say about Thai traffic is that it's not just bad because it's bad. It's bad because it's somewhat unpredictable. It drives me crazy sometimes where, I'm experienced, right? And I take cabs all the time, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. I'll think to myself, okay, it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. and I'm going from here to here. It's going to be fine. It's Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Right.
And then bam, you hit the wall, and I'm like, oh my God.
Right. Or sometimes it's unexpected. You're going to an area that you don't know, and it's like 3 p.m. on a weekday, and unbeknownst to you, there's like a school nearby, and
that's right.
Lineups of parents being the truth. Sometimes I leave for work in the morning, and usually I get a motorcycle taxi to take me just up the street a little bit. But sometimes, inexplicably for no reason, there's just no motorcycle guys there for 10, 12 minutes or something.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think you can't master this.
Right.
But the bottom line is you got to up your game. Yeah. Like you got to improve your kung fu basically, and figure out a way to, like, I just feel lame, when I'm with my friends and I'm late and I say like, oh, traffic, I just feel lame. Right. It's bad. You should not be doing it a lot.
Yeah, a few times, all right, no problem. It happens. A few more times, well, all right, it's suspicious. All the time, you got to get on top of that, man. Figure something out.
For sure.
Yeah, man. This one bothers me to no end. Now, we've all seen the old Thai man on the corner with his shirt lifted up over his belly or something like that. I think they're allowed to do that. But every once in a while, I will see a foreigner walking around completely without a shirt on, just shirtless, downtown Bangkok.
Brutal.
Not a good look, man. Not a good look.
Brutal. I mean, basically anywhere but the beach, don't do it.
Right.
Like, okay, if you're on the beach, if your feet are on sand, then you're allowed to take your shirt off. But even walking down, I don't like it. Like if you're walking down the street, even if you're in Phuket, but if you're walking down the street, like put a shirt on. It's just not a Thai thing. I mean, I know some Thais do it, especially like sketchy old dudes will walk around without a shirt on.
Sure, they get a pass.
Especially in the city. Occasionally you just see foreigners like just walking around without a shirt on, like down Sukhumvit or something.
Right. It's like, bro, look around you. No one looks like you anywhere around you. Like, figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not, this kind of, these kind of things, it makes it sound like we're being judgmental or we're being conservative, but that's not what it's about. We're not advocating modesty. We're just advocating being smart about the context like you live in. The bottom line is, like you said, we are like guests in the country. And if Thai people don't do it, they probably don't like or enjoy seeing foreigners do it.
Right.
Like if they're not doing it, they don't like it. And that's just not cool.
Right.
Like what else can you say? Like it's just not cool. And if you're fresh off the boat, if you just got off an airplane, you get a pass for a little while, but you should, again, open up your eyes and realize that, hey, like, I should put a shirt on.
Right.
Like, you should realize that it's just not a Thai thing.
Yeah. And I think if you're in like Daytona Beach, or if you're like in Ibiza or Ibiza, to say it correctly, I think that's probably what most people do. They walk around without their shirts on or in bikinis or something like that. Totally fine. But in Bangkok, don't do it, man. It's an immediate giveaway that you're probably kind of a bore. Yeah,
agree. It's lame.
Yeah. All right, we got a bonus one here at the end, and this one's a little bit weird. Ed, I'm going to give it to you, but
well, this one this happens sometimes. Okay, so we know that there's we live in a bum gun culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've discussed the pros and cons of the bum gun. I mean, I think if you give the bum gun a try, and it's a little bit weird at first, it's just kind of a superior system.
I agree.
It's just better.
Once you go bum gun, you never go back.
Yeah, it does take a while. There's a learning curve, whatever. But I think I'm going to guess this has happened to you. But a classic mistake with a bum gun is the water pressure is much higher than you expect, and so you just end up blasting yourself in the butt, or it sprays all over the place, or you get your pants wet. It's like it's not quite exploding, but water pressure in Thailand is shockingly inconsistent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just like you can squeeze one bum gun or turn on one faucet and it's like a trickle.
Yeah.
And then another one is just blasting.
So this one is you get a red card for not testing an unfamiliar bum gun. You got to test it.
Correct. You got to know, always pick up the bum gun first and do a little test. Maybe you got to squeeze it halfway. This might be a halfway bum gun, not a full squeeze. Might not be a full squeeze.
Right. So yeah, I think in a second worst case scenario, it squirts up your back or out the side and makes your shirt wet or whatever. The worst case scenario is, of course, hearing someone scream from inside the bathroom. Yeah, you can give yourself a bit of a shock. Let's just put it that way. That's right. So this is a definite noob mistake. I would expect anyone who's been here any amount of time to just put it off to the side a little bit, do a couple of little quick
and test those bum guns.
That's right. See what you
heard it here first. Advice from the Bangkok podcast. Test your bum gun.
See what you're in for. So there we go. That's our list of things that would immediately put you on your back foot as someone who is either not respecting Thai culture properly, or is just being kind of a Dorcas and should be a bit more aware about what you're doing and the environment.
Up your game. Have some self-respect.
Any of these, you get a demerit from the Bangkok podcast.
Correct. But I want to hear listeners' ideas, because I like this topic, and so I want to hear listeners' ideas for demerits like this, because I think this should be a series.
Yeah.
Just like we need, we haven't actually done a merit badge show in a while, so we need to do another merit badge show. So send us your ideas for merit badges, but also demerits as well.
Yeah, if they're good enough, we'll do a second one. Thanks. All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we then discuss to decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we just have to learn to live with no matter how we feel about it. And this week, Ed, it's my turn to throw something your way.
All right.
I know you're a vegetarian, and I can't remember, though, if you eat eggs or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't eat a lot, so I'm kind of vegetarian leaning vegan, so I do occasionally eat eggs or eat dairy, but not a lot.
Okay.
So
what's your take on unrefrigerated eggs at a store?
Yeah, interesting. There's actually several different types of Thai food, including stuff like fruit that I'm like, for example, I recently bought some pomelo on the street.
Ooh, nice.
Sam-o, right? Sam-o is the Thai word. Yeah. I bought it, and I bought it on the street, and it's just like sitting out in the sun. And it's even a little bit surprising, but then I took it home, put it in the fridge, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. But there's a bunch of Thai food like this that I am always a little bit worried that it's not chilled. So yeah, I gotta say things like eggs that are not refrigerated, I've never had a problem. And the same thing with the fruit. I buy fruit on the street, and it'll be warm. It's been sitting there.
Right. Yeah.
But I've never had a problem. But I find it a little bit sketchy, a little bit worrisome. So I got to say, I would probably go thumbs down on the room temperature eggs or warm eggs. Yeah, doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Like a lot of the mom and pop shops will have eggs off to the side that aren't refrigerated.
Yeah, they're just like stacked up. And
yeah,
it's just and of course Thailand gets hot.
Yeah,
so they can be literally warm, like very warm.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. Now I know that I didn't look this up, but I know that there is some considerations, like the way that the chickens are raised and the way the factories get them to lay eggs in Thailand is different from Western countries. It has to do with the types of immunizations they have and the diseases that could be passed on to the eggshells. So there's something to do with the regulatory necessity of refrigerating eggs in Western cultures. But, my mother-in-law has sometimes brought home unrefrigerated eggs, and she's left a few out and forgotten about them. And within 3 or 4 days, you're like, what smells, man? And they go rotten so fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a window. I don't really know what the window is.
Right.
But yeah, that's the word.
You put eggs in the refrigerator, and they last for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like
pretty long time. Yeah. True that.
I don't understand why they don't do it.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that there's obviously going to be some scientific answer to this. But the odd thing is, like, a lot of times people just follow like cultural habits, even though, this has been tested. Like, if you leave them out, they're going to be good for 24 hours at most. But I guess that's just the way it is. But yeah, it's funny you brought this up because I just bought this huge thing of pomelo, and I was wondering, God, I wonder how long it's been sitting out in the sun. I mean, actually, we weren't quite in the sun. We were on the street,
right?
Kind of under an awning, but it was still probably, 36 degrees or whatever. So yeah, I'm doing my best to think
pretty close.
So it's probably like it's literally 90 degrees outside Fahrenheit, and this has been just sitting on the side of the road all day, but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
So I gotta say live with, but I do find it sketchy.
Yeah, I'm a live with. I'll buy them, but then when I get home, I put them right in the fridge.
All right, good question. A final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping in our never-ending quest for cool content. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
Yeah, Brosif, you can also listen to each episode on YouTube. You can send us a voicemail through our website that we'll feature on the show. Hit me up on Threads at BKKGreg. So thank you for listening, everyone. Take it easy out there. Turn those air purifiers on. We'll see you back here next week.
No doubt.